It's September 27th, 1969, a foggy evening in Lake Berryessa, Northern California. The air is damp with a chilling coolness, a stark contrast to the heat that has been suffocating the region all summer. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia and Shepard, two young students enjoying an afternoon by the lake, have no idea that this peaceful outing will turn into one of the most terrifying moments of their lives. Suddenly, a figure approaches, his hooded costume hiding his face. He strides with purpose, walking toward the couple with a calm confidence that immediately sets off alarm bells in their minds. Without warning, the man pulls out a gun, orders them to lie down, and forces them to the ground, their peaceful day shattered in an instant. What follows is bizarre and chilling. As the man ties them up, he begins to carve a symbol on the door of Hartnell's car, a cross inside a circle, a sign that has now become synonymous with the infamous Zodiac Killer. But what makes this crime different from his others is the unpredictable nature of his actions. He doesn't immediately kill them. Instead, he talks to them, trying to explain his motives as he's calm and collected. Cecilia and Brian look at each other in sheer terror, struggling to make sense of what's happening. This isn't just a robbery, it's something much darker. The Zodiac Killer is someone who's carefully chosen them as his next victims, yet something in the killer's demeanor suggests he's not just after a quick kill. This moment will be etched in their memories forever. The man, later identified as the Zodiac, uses his knife to stab them both multiple times, though in a seemingly measured manner. His mind appears to be fixated on making a statement more than delivering a lethal blow. Both victims will survive, but not without lifelong physical and emotional scars. After committing the attack, the Zodiac simply walks away, leaving the inmates alive but broken, physically, emotionally, and mentally. As the media frenzy kicks into high gear, authorities quickly come to realize that this attack marks the latest chapter in the Zodiac's reign of terror. The attack on Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard would become infamous for its cold precision, but it wasn't the first time the Zodiac had left his cryptic message for the world to see. Following the stabbing, the killer sent letters to the media, taunting the police with promises of more deaths unless his demands were met. The cryptic letters, full of strange ciphers, became his signature as he seemed to enjoy the attention and power his killings brought him. As the investigation ramps up, detectives look to the last victim for answers. The Zodiac's coded messages seem like they might hold the key to his identity, but the cryptic nature of these notes makes it impossible to break through. The police become desperate, trying to make sense of the seemingly random attacks. Each time the Zodiac strikes, he leaves behind little evidence, but a trail of confusion and terror. Yet, as time passes, new developments surface. The Zodiac takes more risks, he sends more letters, taunts the police, and even claims responsibility for other killings in the area. But what's most intriguing about this final victim is that Brian Hartnell recalls something unique about the Zodiac's mannerisms. The killer was calm, almost methodical as he spoke to them during the attack. This unsettling behavior leads investigators to consider that this final victim might hold the key to solving the entire case. But when the police finally get their hands on a lead, a critical clue that could reveal the Zodiac's true identity, what they find makes everyone stop dead in their tracks. It's October 1970, almost a year since Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard survived their brutal attack by the Zodiac Killer. The case is nationally infamous, with a growing public fascination surrounding the cryptic letters sent by the killer and his ability to evade capture. Detectives in California are feeling the pressure. The Zodiac has slipped through their fingers again and again, leaving only twisted symbols and unsettling taunts behind. But then, just when they think they've run out of leads, a new letter arrives, a cryptic note, postmarked from a location in San Francisco. The letter, like all the others, is filled with strange symbols and language only the killer understands. It's as if he's deliberately mocking the authorities, yet this one contains something new. A new cipher, one that promises to unlock a vital clue about his identity. The letter, dated October 14th, 1970, is addressed directly to the San Francisco Chronicle. It includes a disturbing message that reads, I hope you are having lots of fun and trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber. I will admit I am a killer, but I enjoy what I do, so it's not a problem. Now, you are probably wondering where I am, but my name isn't important. What I want is for you to figure out the cipher. If you can decode this, you will know who I am. The letter is signed off with a symbol, a cross within a circle, the same signature that Hartnell and Shepard saw on the door of the car during their attack. It's the Zodiac signature, a symbol that has now become synonymous with his violent campaign of terror. The cipher contained in the letter is far more complex than anything the investigators have seen before. It looks like a series of random letters jumbled together in an intricate pattern. It's clear that the Zodiac is enjoying this, playing with the minds of the investigators, daring them to decode his message. As detectives scramble to interpret the symbols, it becomes evident that this cipher is different. This one doesn't just offer clues to where the Zodiac might be. It's a direct challenge to unmask the killer. Meanwhile, Brian Hartnell, still haunted by the events of that fateful day, begins to recall more details of his encounter with the Zodiac. He remembers the killer's calmness as he approached them, the way he spoke as though everything was under control, as if he were orchestrating the entire scene. Williams had told investigators before that the Zodiac seemed to enjoy the terror in their eyes. But there was something else that haunted him about the killer's demeanor. He had seemed oddly familiar. As the months pass, the search intensifies. Cryptographers and codebreakers from across the country begin working together, piecing together the cipher. The Zodiac's taunting letters continue to arrive, each one more puzzling and frustrating than the last. It's like a game to him, and the authorities are playing on his terms. In the San Francisco Chronicle's office, a team of journalists examines the Zodiac's letters and cryptic messages. Paul Avery, a journalist who has covered the case from the beginning, begins to suspect that the Zodiac is using these letters to send hidden signals to the authorities. He believes the Zodiac might be making mistakes, perhaps out of arrogance or a need for attention. Avery feels he's on the verge of discovering a vital clue, but every turn he takes feels like a dead end. Then one day, a breakthrough arrives. A cryptographer working tirelessly on the cipher decodes part of it. The message begins to form a recognizable sentence: "I am the killer you seek." With this single sentence, the investigation takes a sudden turn. The Zodiac Killer, through his cryptic messages and taunts, has finally revealed something that no one expected, the clue that could lead them directly to him. The chilling reality sets in. What if the Zodiac has been in plain sight all along? What if he's not just hiding behind coded messages, but has been walking among them undetected? And if that's true, how many others might he have killed? As the news of the cipher's partial solution breaks, the investigation takes a darker turn. With the possibility of identifying the Zodiac growing closer, the killer becomes more reckless and more dangerous. New letters flood the press, each more cryptic and filled with threats. What will the Zodiac do next? Will he finally reveal himself, or will the investigation spiral into chaos? It's now 1974, and the Zodiac Killer's reign of terror has lasted for years. The nation has been captivated by his cryptic letters, taunting police and the public. But after more than a decade of dead ends and frustratingly elusive clues, it seems that the final breakthrough is within reach. The cryptic message in the cipher, which had been partially decoded earlier, now begins to make sense. For the first time, investigators are close to identifying the man behind the letters, the symbol, and the brutal killings. But even with the progress made, one question remains: who is the Zodiac Killer? The breakthrough. A breakthrough finally comes when an anonymous tip is received by the police. The source claims that the Zodiac Killer is someone who was already known to the authorities, a man who had been arrested on other charges but had never been linked to the killings. This man's background is not only suspicious but eerily similar to what investigators had been looking for. Someone who had lived in the Bay Area during the Zodiac's reign of terror and was familiar with the locations of the killings. As investigators follow up on this lead, they uncover a series of connections, old letters, writings, and photos that suggest the suspect was more involved than anyone had realized. Every piece of evidence points to a man named Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester who had been living in the area at the time of the murders. Despite this promising lead, the Zodiac's identity isn't confirmed yet. There's still one crucial piece of evidence missing: the DNA or physical evidence to link Allen to the crimes. Without this, Allen could simply be another suspect among many. The police begin to work with forensic experts to run DNA tests on the letters the Zodiac had sent, hoping for a match. The discovery. Months pass as the DNA testing continues. Every angle is explored, but still, no concrete evidence can be found that links Arthur Lee Allen to the murders. The case is becoming a frustrating dead end. Investigators are running out of leads, and the hope of finding the Zodiac Killer feels increasingly remote. Then, just as all seems lost, a final letter arrives, postmarked from a small town in California. The contents of the letter are chilling. This time, it's more than just cryptic symbols. The Zodiac taunts the investigators one last time, saying he's still out there and that he's untouchable. In this letter, the Zodiac claims that his identity is too well hidden to ever be revealed, and that no matter how hard they try, they'll never find him. However, this letter carries with it one last shocking detail: a mistake. The Zodiac, in his arrogance, made an error in his writing that gives detectives one final clue. Investigators notice a slight discrepancy between the letters and the known handwriting samples of Arthur Lee Allen. The final twist. Despite years of speculation, tips, and investigation, the Zodiac's identity remains shrouded in mystery. Arthur Lee Allen, despite being the primary suspect, was never convicted due to a lack of definitive evidence. DNA testing never provided the closure investigators had hoped for. Arthur Lee Allen died in 1992, still a suspect, but never officially confirmed as the Zodiac Killer. As for the Zodiac himself, he was never caught, never definitively identified, and his true identity remains one of the most chilling unsolved mysteries in criminal history. The case went cold, and with it, the twisted legacy of one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. Haunting ending. In the final days of the investigation, a new revelation emerges, a disturbing connection to an entirely different case. Years later, new DNA techniques would be used to revisit the evidence, but the Zodiac Killer's true identity remains a mystery. The Zodiac's final words still linger in the minds of those who studied the case: "I will continue to kill until I have killed 37 people." They thought the Zodiac was gone, but new clues reveal he may still be out there, somewhere waiting. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to hear more about other famous unsolved cases. This is the chilling truth behind the Zodiac Killer, but the world of true crime is far from over. Stay tuned for more mysteries that still haunt us today.